Hello and welcome to part 2 of my lunar lander video. As I promised, we've moved from a lunar lander to missiles, and I'm going to show you how to make it in an array so you can get them all to work. Hopefully this recording will work, because this is the second or third attempt now. My microphone is awful, so hopefully this is all fine. So let's just show you what I've got. So now we can activate each missile independently and it'll fly off, and if I try and run quickly between them, that'll all work nicely independently, be no problems, which you would get in the first script, because it was really, that first script's only good for one item. As soon as you try and use more than one item, you're going to get problems, because variables are going to start being used in both and having different values and not the values they should have, etc. So this is the new code. It's the same practically as the code I put in yesterday's video, but now it's arrays. So we've got missile activated and missile speed with the squiggly brackets. That automatically makes an array in Lunar. It's the same as dim missile activated in most languages, but for some reason in Lunar you do that. Squiggly brackets. So in the init I'm setting up the array. That's how the arrays work in Game Guru and Lunar. Square brackets, using E, which is the identity of the object. That means that if you've got 100 different objects that you've got this script attached to, it's always going to be a unique number, which is the important part of using an array to get this to work. Same with activated. So we're going to the main code here. Same as before, player distance. If it's within that player distance, it'll run this bit of code. So if it's activated, or if it isn't activated, it'll tell you to press it or press E to start it, and then if you press E, it's going to go through and set that to 1. And start the particle emitter, which I've put in a different place here. I've put it in this bit. Last time it was somewhere down here, but I've just put it there because it's probably the best place to put it. That was I just stuck that in as a little quick extra. I didn't really think much about it, and I've put it into this part of the code here, and it'd be running there all the time, and it may make a difference. It may ignore it, I'm not sure, but that's the ideal place to put it in the little trigger. So once it's triggered and you've set missile activated to 1, it'll ignore that code then, and it'll be moving on to this bit. It's always running this, but because it's not 1, it ignores it. So when it hits 1, it'll then start running this part. This bit here I've had to do a little bit differently, because you can't do any calculations, any arithmetic on an array in Lunar. Why? I don't know, but it's something to do with Lunar. It doesn't like it. Most languages generally will let you do it, but Lunar doesn't. So what I've done is I've just set up, as you can see here, temp speed, and I've basically make it equal what the missile speed is, which is 0 to start with, and then I've added the speed value to temp speed, and then I make the missile speed equal temp speed. Reset temp speed here to 0, so that when it goes and runs again, it'll do the same. It'll remember what missile speed was, and then add the new temp speed to that, and rinse and repeat. Collision off, same as yes before. If you want to move things, you've got to turn the collision off. And then it sets the position as before with the missile speed on the Y, but it's using the array, so it's never going to conflict with any other missiles. You could have 1,000 missiles going if you really wanted to. It wouldn't affect it at all. It'll just be in the right position. And then if it gets greater than 60,000 on the y-axis, it stops it. Same as before. Resets your variables, which is good programming practice. You don't actually need to do it because you're destroying it here, but what can I say? I'm just automatic pilot, make sure I reset my variables or arrays. whenever I can. So, and collision on again to turn it on, which repeats. And you can probably, to be honest, you don't even need collision on a flying missile, so you could probably turn that off and get a little bit of speed back if it's starting to struggle. All you need to do is turn it off initially. And that's about it, really. Setup on the models is exactly the same as before. So you've got to make sure it's not static, you've got to make sure it's immobile. One thing I think I forgot to mention yesterday was always active. I've set that to yes. Now if you don't have to set that, but as soon as it gets within about 2,000 units, it's going to stop running. So if you want it to go further than that, which obviously at 60,000 it's going a lot further than that, you want to put always active, yes. I haven't set the occludes here, but again, if you set them to now, you'll probably see the missile for a bit further into the distance than you do while it's on. And that's pretty much it. That should explain how the new script works. I'll post the code so people can use it directly, and you can fire your own missiles off. Woohoo! I'm not sure whether I have to go any further. I mean, they just fire up in the air at the moment. It would be getting a bit more complicated to make them sort of go so far or to arc rather than to just fire up. I'll start using some maths there. I don't like that. I avoid it at all costs generally, but it's not going to be that hard, really. But yeah, you could make them fire off in all sorts of directions if you wanted to. Just requires a little bit more than the basics. So anyway, that'll do for now. Hopefully it's helped you. So until next time, I'll catch you later.